we're about to go into induction, rotation.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hott Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhottradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
We're going to give that a repeat. I got a radio show, and my name is Showtime the Hype Man on Philly Hott Radio.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hott Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhottradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
Hi, my name is Showtime the Hype Man, and welcome to Philly Hott Radio. I got a radio show, and I am grateful the show that God has allowed me to keep focusing what I need to do. We're broadcasting live on Instagram. For those who know him, this is a new I'm doing something new for those who are on Instagram, those who follow me on Instagram. I'm hoping that some of my viewers and some of my fans and audience would tune in. Before we get started, I want to talk about being committed to something. And I have realized that a lot of things that we do, we have never been committed of doing some things. I am committed to do this without an audience, without a team. I just want to continue to walk this journey. This journey is a hard journey for me. This journey is something that is hard, but I must continue to do the footwork as a soldier. And I was listening to one of my friends this morning on their radio show, and they was talking about all the rejections and going to school. And even for me, I didn't take school as serious when I was a young adult in the city of Philadelphia. And a lot of people always will criticize a man or a woman if those who text on Facebook or those who text stuff out, and how we rush some of our texts and not proofreading it at the time, especially when you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I text something this morning and never heard this person before, but wanted to criticize and say something. But I know that that's when you put something out there in the public, you put yourself out there for someone to feed into that negative spirit. But what I said was, I learned to always say God bless to the person that come with negative. If you continue to use that word, God bless you, they cannot attack you or even your spirit. I know what I meant to write, but I was rushing this morning, so so it's important that I understand that certain things that I don't have, but I will work on it. And that's why I'm here every day at this radio station, and hoping that the viewers and those who are watching me on the YouTube channel this morning, and for those who like to tune in, my phone lines are opening for those who like to call in at 484-477-6348. This is going to be a great show. I'm going to talk about life. And today we don't have a guest today, but everybody has other things, other motives, other things. But I believe that the more I'm here by myself, the more God is going to get in touch with me. And I know that one day things are going to change for me because I'm doing the right day. For those who are watching me, I want to give you a chance to know who Showtime the Hype Man and how I became Showtime the Hype Man, and how this radio show has came up on my journey. I guess in 2010, the late Honorable Tommy Blackwell, as became a state rep, and other opportunities in his district where the other places. And what happened is, as a young man, I used to do shows at the Wynn Ballroom, at the Chestnut Heart Theater, the International House. And I always to do shows, and I like politics. I always like the politics for some reason, and I love the drive being a part of a campaign, what it has done for my spirit, and also trying to help the community. But I didn't know what I was doing. I was just showing up. So in the '80s, the early '80s, one of my friends that was in the street with me, Abdul Sandra. He went to a guy named James Williams, and he saw that all of us was going down the wrong path. And Abdul Sandra and Mr. James Williams said that once you invite some of these guys, and maybe we can have build the organization. And I didn't know what this organization was about. I didn't know nothing about organization. I didn't know nothing about meetings. Only thing I knew was how to survive, how to go still, how to do things to make money in my own way, or how to be growing up. And I'm so grateful that God put the brakes on me and introduced me to an organization called the Young Elite Society. That journey of me joining the Young Elite Society, even though I didn't have a great education background at the time. And even me growing up in my mother's household, I didn't have the best education, even going to elementary school, junior high school, even up to high school. But I hung in there and I picked up whatever that I can soar as a student at some of these schools in the city of Philadelphia. But that didn't stop me. I was blessed and fortunate that I knew that education was very important. And I continue to tell my sons and my two sons that always remember that education is important. And I used to push that on them so much. And now I see myself doing it to my grandson that I'm raising, an 8-year-old grandson at this present time, and dealing with his teachers, signing him up in schools, taking him to school, picking him up from school, dropping him off over his mother's house at the time that his mother, I'm still trying to work a relation with her. But I didn't know where Showtime the Hype Man was doing some things and from the streets, but I never knew, because of my way of education, that certain people that can catch on quicker. And I didn't realize the ligament balance of me comprehending certain structures in school with social study, history, writing skills, reading skills, special spelling skills, and also math. Those things was not attracted to me or inside my household because both of my parents didn't have a great education, and but not to say that I had great parents. We put us in a nice home. We was born and raised in a nice resident community. In 1964, for those who know, we moved up in Winfield from living down 34th in Manhattan, 34th in Fairmount, where the projects were blacks and young blacks that maybe thought they was grown and got pregnant and got married. So the system had a place that they built for young people. They had children to have somewhere to live inside the projects. For those who were born in the 60s and the 50s, knew that projects was another place, a public system for black people to live on top of each other, and all across this great country where blacks was piled up to piled up, and even those who lived down Rich and Outer projects, 38 around there, 46 in Fairmount. They had a project down South Philly, and they had a project somewhere else. So it's just amazing how education and structure has played a major role in all of our lives. But we are learning more, and as me being an adult, that sometime I will go to God and say, God, you didn't give me everything. And God spoke to me. He said, son, if I gave you everything, you wouldn't have nothing to work on. So I'm so grateful that God has allowed me to do the things that I'm doing, and it allowed me to do what I'm doing even today, even though I'm not on my other social media page because something that I might have done wrong or that it took me off. And it's important that if I speak, that I learn how to speak and not do things that crush the community or say something that affect the community, because I realize that some of the social media platforms always trying to make sure that we bring unity in our community. And I guess what went on in Washington, that some of the social media outlets are watching behaviors of men and women that's on social media. So it's important for me that anything I do from this period, that I have to be careful what I say, how I say it, and what I'm saying. So get back into my story about Showtime the Hype Man on Philly. I got a radio show on Philly Hott Radio. So, you know, as I got into my young life, I guess I struggled like everybody else, trying to find certain ways. But in the area that I came, street was a big thing, even selling drugs maybe, or feel that getting over or robbing or even stealing to feed my spirit. And my spirit was fed of hustling, what we thought that was hustling. But reality, it wasn't hustling. It was taking me down the wrong path and lead me into another way of life. But I'm grateful that God has allowed me to join an organization, and this organization have gave me structure. It allowed me to be with leaders that gave me structure. It allowed me to be around father figures, men that was businessmen, and those who was achieving some things without selling drugs or robbing someone or stealing someone. Sometimes I regret of not really being a good student in school. That bothers me. For those who are watching me, that's one of the things that do bothers me a whole lot. But I cannot bring up the past and the way that I was raised with dealing with education. But it's important that I keep doing what I'm doing and keep inventing myself and continue to keep pushing myself. And I am working hard. And I know that one day God is going to allow me to do some things that I never done before. So in the meanwhile, I'm still praying, I'm still listening, I'm still reading. I am still trying to find a new way how to reach an audience or how to be attractive to people that are watching me around the world. It's important that the gift that God gave me, it's important that I practice every day, live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any social media that allow me to build my platform. I am working hard, and I want to be the GOAT of the radio show, and know that hard work is one of the key driving force that I got inside of me. For those who know that I'm on this radio show at Philly Hott Radio Monday to Saturday. And for 2 hours a day, I come here to the lab. This is a lab for me. And what it does, it teaches me how to conduct myself, how to interview people, how to deal with all the technology, dealing with the equipment that's here, the microphones, the phones that we have lined up. I have a board that's in front of me that deals with the sounds and how to approach myself. Also, I'm learning about the lights and how certain lights that goes on your phone or on your lab computer, of those who have connected to their TV, you can watch me live. For those who are watching me now, we have a phone line that anybody that want to call up here The phone line is 484-477-6348. We have a phone line that is open. For those who like to go on our YouTube channel to watch us live on YouTube, it's www.phillyhotradio with two T's .com. Also, we have a website that you can go to, phillyhotradio.com. But I want to talk about me a little bit because the audience need to know the way and how I got to this radio station and how this blessing and opportunity has landed on me. I have found that failure is a part of success. And every day I get up, I'm always trying to find a way, how can I better myself as a radio personnel? How can I be attracted to my audience and to my viewers to be attracted to people? But I know one thing, I gotta be a great storyteller and tell the truth and the facts to my audience. And I didn't want to get a bunch of newspapers or stuff with other radio shows. And I want to get a shout out to all the podcast radios around the world. I want to give the top 100 podcasts that is in the top 100, where I'm aiming to get up there to the top 5 or the top one day. So while I'm here every day in the laboratory, this is what I call my radio station, a laboratory. What I'm doing, that I'm coming here and finding different ways, or what did I did Friday to have a large audience, or what I did last Monday, and I realized that the community has their own way, what they like, what they want to do, and I cannot blame my people about they are not supporting each other. I just have to focus on what I need to do and not focus on my community, not focus on where they say things, slogans about black folks are a bunch of crabs, black folks are jealous of each other. I can't not keep focused on that. If I keep focused on that, that's not going to get me to where I need to get at. What it is what it is, how black folks treat each other. What it is with other people. So I can't not really express that anymore. I just have to continue to do what I need to do to better myself as a public speaker, as a radio personnel, as a radio host for entertainment, as a host that's doing big shows and big events. That's what I'm here for. How can Showtime the Hype Man continue to work on self? I can't not keep worrying about what people say, what they do, what you should do. The key for me is that I have to continue to stay on the intersection. And too many people have got off the intersection and never found themselves back. I am back, and I am committed to build this radio station and hoping that I can be attractive to other people. And I also am learning how to interact with my guests to make sure my guests. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a radio show. My name is Showtime the Hype Man on Philly Hot Radio. Whistle While You Work is my Saturday show. We are live on Philly Hot Radio Morning Show.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
We are broadcast live on Philly Hot Radio Morning Show from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. So we're going to talk about what has been going on in the world. We know that Joe Biden and Harris are in their fourth day going through some things and getting a staff together, putting people. He have a staff of 400 people. For those who know that once you get into the White House, the president, he has 400 new staff that's coming in and new staffs are changing in the White House, and so we're seeing how everything is transformed over because of the other um, chief that left, and now we have a new commanding that's bringing his people in. So for the last couple of days, I guess Joe Biden's been trying to have meetings, also make sure he get his right rest and take his vitamins, and also I believe that he loved walking and exercising because to have that type of position that you must be in shape, and exercise is one of the keys for those who want to be successful. So I want to talk about failure, and where a lot of people are afraid to talk about failure. And I have read books that talks about the great ones that have failed. I have looked at some of the NFL players, some of the NBA players, some of the business people, some of the corporate people, some people that are managers. Failure is a part of life. And if we never had failure, we would never learn from the mistakes and what I did wrong. I have had failure all my life, but I get back up and learn from my mistakes as being and having failure. Too many people are afraid and give up because they failed in one area. I'm going to give you a little story about failure for me. We got a caller calling in. Hi, this is Philly Hot Radio. This is Showtime, the Hype Man Morning Show, live around the world.
Hey, how you doing, Showtime?
Hey, how you doing? Caller.
Still in the house, man.
Who's?
What's going on, man? Everything is well, man.
Well, who's this again, caller?
Tom Hill.
Hey, Tommy Hill, how you doing? How you know I was on live?
Oh, yeah, well, I see you on YouTube, I see you on Instagram.
Good. Well, that's a good thing. I wasn't too sure that the viewers was watching me, but Tommy, for those who are watching me, Tommy Hill is my friend. And we grew up in the same neighborhood, but we continue to stay in contact with each other. And Tommy, I want to ask you a question. What is the difference? And Tommy's a businessman, and Tommy has helped many people opportunities when he had his barbershops in different locations in the city of Philadelphia. And also, Tommy has a unique style that is different, and I'm different. Tommy, what is your upbeat of you seeing today people and the people that when you grew up, what change do you see in people today that you never saw before?
Well, see a lot of change. People, their attitudes is down in the dirt and not having a godly consciousness. People backstabbing one another. There's no love in the community. Well, I can't say it's no love in the community. As we get older, things change. People go this way, and other people go that way. So sometimes change is good. Sometimes change ain't so good.
Well, let me ask you another question then. I have watched the community that I come from where the love is one of the key elements of bringing us together. But because of love is far distant in our community, even in our household, we were sharing where a lot of us came up was not love inside the house, but only thing was inside the house was the food and somewhere to sleep. And today that families and friends and even the young people, we have never learned how to love each other. And we feel that because we love and we show kindness, we think it's weak. And you have women and men today are afraid to show their true love to their male friends, or even family. I have watched that love had wiped out in our own community because we have seen the way gun violence, we have seen us robbing each other, we have seen how a lot of things had tore our community up because of love that was short from day one. We had a young lady on Whistle While You Work was here Saturday, talked about the way how we nutrition our babies and how love start from the day your child come out that womb. And I come from a home maybe that it wasn't no love there, but I found love through the Spirit of God. So that's what I do, Tommy. So for you being out there working in the public, and you had heard a lot of stories cutting hair, and I know you heard some stories being a barber. How did you being a great barber for so long and pleasing all your customers and listen to all our stories? Because Tommy got a lot of stories.
Well, you know, for one thing, number one thing in business is time courtesy. You know, just having a respect for people, just enjoying what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing like that. Not like doing something that you like to do or that you love to do. You might not be making a lot of money with it, but it'll come.
Wow.
You might not be making no money at all, but it'll come.
Uh-huh.
Hey, how you doing, Miss Carol? Yeah, so, I definitely miss the times at the barbershop, man. People, all walks of life that will come into the barbershop. You got professionals, you got doctors, lawyers, plumbers, electricians, young people, 3 years old, 5, 6, 7, old men, got, great stories to tell, and,
Mm-hmm.
just sitting back enjoying each other and networking along with each other. You even have spiritual walkers that come in. You had Raz come through. People of Islamic faith. I mean, you're not supposed to, talk about religion, especially the barbers. You're not supposed to talk about religion in the barbershop because it can get to a point where, people have like arguments.
Mm-hmm.
They get into a debating conversation or argument of conversation. So you don't want to go there, but overall, I miss the love of the community of the hood, the barbershop being in the hood. I mean, not to even say the hood, it's in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. While my audience are watching me on YouTube and we're on Instagram right now, unfortunately, I'm not on Facebook because something I said about the community, and I don't know what I said for me to be blacked out, but it's okay. What can you describe our viewers, those who are watching me right now? What do you know about me, Tommy, as a friend of yours? And I didn't pay Tommy, ladies and gentlemen, to call up here. He did this on his own. What do you know about me, Tommy, watching me grow up? For those who are watching me, and a lot of people still can't figure how I'm still achieving some things without me having a cheerleader or a bullhorn and people not cheering me on, but I continue to show up and do what God put inside. What do you know about me, Tommy, as a friend and as a person that is growing into a radio, as a character, as a leader, and I have demonstrated over the years of a spirit that I got? What do you know about me, Tommy, where most people didn't know about that you know about me?
Well, I know one thing. You're a hard worker at what you do. I mean, you've been into being in the, entertainer, promoter,
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur. long time, man. You got, you're good to people, good-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As far as you always patronize me, whether if I'm at the barbershop, in my basement, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my room or something.
That's
You know
correct.
what I mean? So, we like I said, we would, like you said, we would talk good stuff, man. We had a conversation. Just overwhelmed, man. Beautiful guy, man. I truly love him, man.
And I love you too. And because some days I'm a loner, and I had a young lady on my show here, and when I'm getting out of my system that I can't continue to worry about what people say, what they think, what I'm doing, I have to close the doors on that spirit. And if I want to grow in the public, and it's important that I have a deaf ear or don't even read the comments, what people may say. I had a lady today, I had wrote something on the Winfield Daily News, and I should know that some of the people maybe like the candidate about me, my grammar writing. So I misspelled one word, but they never looked at the message. They looked at the one word of sentence. And I have watched my people would never cheer you on, but they'll find one thing. And I've been on Facebook for the last 10, 11 years. And even though a lot of people are watching me, Tommy, but they wait for my mistake for them to say something about me. And that's what I've been running to. So I want to thank you for calling up, Tommy. And I hope that you can call and also be a guest one day. And just come in and sit in and see how this radio show is run one day. The doors are open for you. Anytime that you got some free time, you're welcome to come to the radio station.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate that.
So I just want you to know that the doors are open for you. You maybe never know. You might have a niche in the radio.
Sounds good.
They said Tommy Hill got his own radio show Monday to Friday.
Yeah, right?
They said, how you do that? Well, Tommy, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tommy. He's still cutting hair. He's still looking for a shop. He's still debating, should he still get a barbershop somewhere in the community? He haven't stopped cutting hair. This is a gift that he got from God. This is the way that he feeds himself. Nobody knows what Tommy went through when he lost everything. And I was a friend to him, and we followed everywhere he went at that was his friends. We try to patronize him to help him out. And I remember when he was working here, going here, but Tommy, you on your way, man. I'm glad that you're working. I'm glad that your house is getting in order. And how's your father doing?
My daddy's not doing too well.
Okay.
It's not a good thing.
Okay, well, don't work, but I think that your father loves you. You look just like your father, but I just want to let you know that we are praying for your father and for your family, and we want you to just be encouraged with your father's situation. So we love you, Tommy. Thank you for calling Philly Hot Radio Morning Show. Thank you so much, Tommy, from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Hey, so that was my friend Tommy. For those who like to call in, you can call. I got a radio show.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
Hi, my name is Showtime the Hype Man. I got a radio show Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. This is a show for ordinary people. This is a show for those who still are trying to get to another level. So before Tommy called in, that was my friend that called in, and I'm so grateful that Tommy Hill called up. But we was talking about failure, and if you heard in Tommy Hill conversations from him owning barbershops, maybe managing barbershops, or even dealing with barbers, is the place where celebrities and stars go in to get their hair cut, or so some of them are fortunate and they have reached a high level in the entertainment world, in the political world, in the corporate world. They hire barbers to go on the road to cut their hair, and they pay them. Steve Harvey talked about when he was growing and developing in a high level in entertainment, where he used to pay his barber $1,500 a week, along with his plane ticket and his food, to make sure that Steve, at the time, Steve Harvey had a box haircut. But because his appearance means a lot to him, and if those who watch my friend on other shows, the Family Feuds, and how he continued to keep his appearance up. And I didn't know how to start my morning show with my appearance. So I just came with relaxed with a hat on, with a shirt, and I wanted to also to find out where maybe I can do something different. I wouldn't put my shirts in the cleaners. Maybe I can do the tie fair, but what I want to do, I have learned this. I was in Groton, Connecticut, and I met a white promoter from all over the world that does big shows, and I told him that when I do shows, I usually put suits and tie on, and I thought that by me dressing up nice and with my guests and those who had purchased tickets to come to my shows, that I thought that was the right way. This Jewish man told me, he said, brother, what you have to learn is to blend in with your audience. And he said that because never outdress your audience. So he said, what I do to all my shows, I wear a nice pair of nice little gator loafers, wear a pair of jeans, and a nice polo shirt to blend in with my audience. And ever since he told me that, I was not wearing suits to none of my events. For those who want to know me, I'm the guy at the Dell Music Center. I am the former hype man for the Dell Music Center since 2010 to 2018. And for those who also want to know me, that I have done a lot of after shows, high school shows. I did hip hop shows as a young, where DJs was popping up all over the place. I was blessed in that area to do a lot of shows and promote a lot of shows where most people maybe didn't know that Showtime the Hype Man was doing shows at the age of 17 years old. And for those who are not familiar with the Wynn Ballroom that are watching me on Instagram around the world, that was one of the biggest places where Wynn Ballrooms have nice cabaret. It was a place where it had about 5 ballrooms in one building. That's up between 54th and Lebanon and between 54th and Arlington Street. Now that place is a senior citizen home. I want to thank the Councilman Jones and his staff and his organizations and those who put the Wynn Ballroom and made it for a senior citizen home where those who are affordable can have a nice brand new apartment. And so I want to thank Councilman Jones, outstanding job that he did. So as a young man leaving high school early at Overbrook High School, even during me going to Bieber, where I didn't take education as serious as a young person. And I didn't know the value then what education means in high school and junior high school. Because I was attracted to the streets, and here go a guy, never knew that as every year that goes by, that I'm gonna need education. I didn't know that even when you go to jobs, where filling the application out, giving tests to get the job, I know God is good to me. every job that deal with testing, I'm blessed that I had enough willpower. And whatever I had in me, the education that I got, it allowed me to land some good jobs in the city of Philadelphia. So after I was doing shows at the age of 17, 18 in the city of Philadelphia, but also I was still a part of an organization called the Young Elite Society. And it showed me another way that I never would have met or got introduced into politics in the city of Philadelphia. And by me, as a young man hanging in the streets down 13th and Market, as one of the Center City hustlers, where most of my friends are either dead or in penitentiary doing life in jail, or some still around because of the behavior of addiction, maybe have it affected some of my friends. And a lot of them have never came out of that, and they've done harm to their spirit. It has done harm to their journey, and it also had done harm to certain things that they maybe would be at right now because of the slow process what diseases do to us. So as we got into the organization called the Young Elite Society, and I had somewhere to go instead of me being in the streets. And on Tuesday nights, when we had our meetings, I had choices to make. But what I would do, I would go downtown and see what person that I can pickpocket or what credit card that I can get. At that time, I was a young man in the streets of the city of Philadelphia, hanging with guys that we all went out to try to get ours on the course of a day. I remember leaving high school at 11 o'clock, finding myself going downtown to meet my friends inside Pop Store at the pool hall in the city of Philadelphia. But as I was going Monday to Friday downtown, I started meeting other men in other neighborhoods like Germantown, South Philly, Southwest Philadelphia, East Falls, North Philly, and I started meeting other brothers just like me that became good friends, and we was hustling in the streets of the city of Philadelphia. So as we started doing petty hustling, that's when cocaine came in our community, and it came in real strong. But before I get into all that, by me meeting my organization called the Young Elite Society, where it had allowed me to be with some professional politicians, and I hung around some great elected officials in the city of Philadelphia, and also hanging around JW, James Williams. They saved my life. And by them saving my life and having a place to go to as a young man where my mother and father was separated and divorced, and by my mother being on welfare and raising 5 children off of welfare and food stamps, and still trying to pay a mortgage from a house living in a nice resident neighborhood, and never knew the pressure what my mother went through, but she kept all her 5 kids together. She found a way to keep us all together. But we all went different roads when we left our house and our home. But unfortunately, I found myself down Center City. But then my friend Abdul and JW hooked up, and then JW told him, get some of your guys and maybe we can talk about some things we want to do. And so the first thing, for those who know, I was doing shows already before I met JW. And what JW gave us was some tools how to do shows in with a DJ, renting a hall out, also if I wanted to serve food, tickets, flyers. So early on out of high school, I didn't stay, but I did went back to school, get my high school diploma. I want to make that clear to my audience. I do have a high school diploma. I went back to school. But during the rocky life of my youth, it was real rocky, but I kept showing up Tuesday night at 3009 Chestnut Street at the Chestnut Hill Apartments, where used to be a Roy Roger, and the International House was down street. Also, for those who know, that Chestnut Hall had a ballroom upstairs, upstairs in the ballroom. So JW asked us what we wanted to do. So, because JW had 2 turntables in his house, and Abdul loved to be a DJ, and then some reason I never was good in mixing and being a DJ, but I would go up there and try to put some records on. But that wasn't me. But what I have found, that I had a voice, I had an energy level, and because of lack of my education, but I knew how to talk on the bullhorn. I knew how to register people to vote. I knew how to put up posters. I knew how to engage with elected officials and with committee people and ward. I have learned that this was something that I can do, even with the lack of education I might have had, but I found something that will make me maybe meet some people or offer me a position, but I did it for the fun, I did it for the love, and I love what I was doing, and I love the excitement where campaigns and developing the stage of campaigns, it had gave me a feeling, and then I realized that my organization have gave me an education more than anything I ever can do. And from this day on, that inside a political spirit is still inside of me. So as I went into the organization called the Young League Society, where we was a group of men and women, and mostly the men, we was all going down the wrong path in the city of Philadelphia. And what happened was that we still was attracted to the streets. We still was attracted of smoking marijuana. We still was attracted of the fast lane, because JW took a bunch of men that was thieves, was about trying to get our money. We was easy to, so whatever he had, it became attracted to me to show up every Tuesday, to be at these meetings with these brothers that all of us came from different backgrounds, but it was something that we needed. But I tried to encourage some of my friends that maybe it might have not been too cool for them, or maybe they didn't fit in. And I know that for those who are in jail right now doing life, wish they'd have turned the corner and stuck with it. I have a lot of my friends that left the organization and wish that the YES was a part of their lives. For those who are watching me, I stayed longer than most of all my friends, because I really didn't have it, but I was attracted that as me being with JW 5 days a week, even on Saturday when he do his payroll for a detective agency, I would be the last one. I would go get his clothes out the cleaners, and he would, out his payroll, he would give me some cash. That little bit of money that JW gave me, it saved my life. And it wasn't much money, but he found of doing a payroll for a detective agency, and that 75 or $80 he gave me on Saturday and the knowledge, and God allowed me to meet J.W. before he passed away. And I am so grateful with J.W. and Abdul Sanders picking me to join this organization, and it saved my life. And so as I stayed in the organization, I met the Blackwells and the Honorable Blackwell and Lucian and Janie Blackwell. And they tend to like me because they saw my enthusiasm as a young man, and I look like a Blackwell, and I am. It didn't have to be by birth, but I was birthed to the family, and the whole family accepted me as a Blackwell family. It might not be liked by some of one, maybe or two, but I was accepted to be in the Blackwell family, along with me being involved in some of the campaigns and having. It is something about me that I had that was attractive, and it was my work habit. It was my dedication. It was my doing the right thing, how to respect people. I knew how to talk to committee people, and then as I stayed, of course, with JW, he taught us how to run campaigns, and he taught us how to do shows. Also, we got into raising money and selling candy bars, and we would get boxes and boxes of candy bar. We would just come in. We are street guys. We don't know nothing about honest money. And JW was showing us how to get honest money. And for a guy like me that's a professional pickpocket, a guy that was sling marijuana at the time, I wasn't big on selling cocaine, but I was big on selling marijuana in my youth. That's the choice that I was doing at the time. And so when we started selling candy bars, I would go in front of supermarkets and talk about, can you please do it for me? We had a song from the YES organization that I come from. We had a song like this: please do it for me, please do it for me. If you can't do it for yourself, then please do it for me. So when I approached my customers and those in supermarkets or where I was at, and I told them why we were selling candy bars, and I asked them how many you want, 2 or 3 or 4, because I always had swag as a Center City hustler. I always knew how to talk. See, I always knew how to talk, but I never went to school to talk professional. So I had this slang inside of me, but it was a good thing, and it helped me where I was weak at. My talking had helped me get in some doors and meet some important people in the city of Philadelphia. So as JW was teaching us honest living, and then we got into open up our own fruit store, and what he was doing, showing us how to open up a business and also how to profit your money, and where you would sell your products or your protein, and then you would take the end of the day that money, you would count what you sold, and by the end of the week, we would calculate how much we did to restock up again, and it's like a turnover. And so I learned that too as being a part of the organization. But what really I found my platform was when we got involved in politics, where JW had a little bit of money. No, he had a little money. He had nice money. And at the time that he ran across Lucian E. Blackwell, Councilman Lucian E. Blackwell, and also we got involved with Algier Dumas into some of his campaigns. And that was the beginning, the seed for me as a young man, being in an organization and coming from a structure, a family that was broken, coming from a high school kid that was left high school earlier than I supposed to. But I went into the streets, but I knew that God has took me on a intersection, and it allowed me to meet JW on this intersection. It allowed me to meet Abdul, Basil Patterson, Gary G, Hank Lundy, Shelton, and bringing Jamila, Hakeem, and Jawal, and it was some other people, Sabrina, let rest in peace, that we started bringing other people to the organization because we feel that this organization, that it was doing something for me that I can help other friends. Also, we had other friends, parents was attracted what JW was doing to us and changing street guys like me and putting me in a better way in a guideline. For those who are watching me on Instagram, and because I'm here at the radio station, for those who want to get to know me, I got a story to tell. And today's show is who Showtime is and where I came from. So for those who like to call up, ask some questions.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hott Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
Hi, this is Showtime the Hype Man. I got a radio show. For those who are watching me on Instagram, you can call up the radio station and maybe talk about your story or talk about what you're going through. Well, one thing I'm going to do, and I am committed to my audience, that I'm not going to come here lie to you and tell you all these lies, because that will not get you to the promised land. It will not get you to where you need to go at. I got a radio show. Sometimes I got to pinch myself and say, the phone lines are open at 484-477-6348. So as I got into being a part of this organization called the Young Elite Society, but I still was attractive to the streets. And I still was attractive of being a little player, where in my era that I like women. At the time I had a lot of different girlfriends. I would play them. That's what we did, came up, those who come up in my era in the 80s and the 70s. I was mainly in the 80s maybe. Because I came out of high school at 79 years old, at 1979. And that's what we do. We was dressers. So as I got more into the organization, I still had behaviors. I still had behaviors that I had to be very careful. So I remember when I got deep involved in politics, like in 81, 83, and 84 maybe, where we had proved to the Honorable Lucian Blackwell that our organization was worthy to be with him. And it was a great honor that Councilman Lucian E. Blackwell watched us, and he saw what JW had developed, an organization and a powerful organization that can be recognized in elections, and how we knew how to handle poll places. We knew how to campaign. We knew how to set up posters. We knew how to talk on the bullhorn. Hi, come meet him, come greet him. I became a voice on the mic, on the bullhorn, when we would drive around in cars, and I would say that the Honorable Lucian Blackwell's on your block right now. Come meet him, come greet him, come shake his hands, ask a few questions. That's right, Councilman Lucian E. Blackwell's on your block right now. When Lucian Blackwell ran for mayor in the mayor race. I was well groomed and prepared to go into another high performance in politics. We started off in the state rep race when I started to see more in politics, even doing citywide polls, where we would go and have 6 phone lines, our organization. And we would go all day, call them, hi, if the day was election day, what would be your 3 choice of mayor? So I got into and doing citywide polls and doing data, but I didn't have the education, but I found something that I can go to. I have found something that I can be attracted to, but no matter, no one knew that my education may not been where I was with people that had social degrees, but because of my work habit, I had a habit and I had an energy level that kept me showing up in spite of my weakness. So as JW started teaching us more things and development in the process of politics in the city of Philadelphia. So I became a one-man campaign because I saw that everything that JW, my organization, gave me, I was the highest of everything that we was doing, in spite of lack of education that I might have had. I can read and write, don't get me wrong, my audience, and I can know how to comprehend it. But what happened is that I found something on the intersection, and I found a way how to survive from not going back into the street where most of my friends are in jail right now doing life in penitentiary. I have found another way. I may not made a lot of money. I may not have a car or the expensive car or the latest outfit, but I stuck to the plan that God has for me joining this organization called the Young Elite Society. So as I stuck to the plan, and as I started campaigning, I found the love of politics in the city of Philadelphia. I found the love of organizing, setting up campaign office, setting up literatures, going down the 70 committee on Walnut Street between 16 and 15. I have found my way around the city of Philadelphia. Then I found my way up in City Hall on the 4th floor where the Honorable Lucian Blackwell was a council person. Then we started on Unity Day when they used to have Unity Day in Philadelphia, where Unity Day was big in the city of Philadelphia at that time. So at that time, my organization and the men's and women, we was young, but we stuck together. And it became a bondage of us being dedicated, and it was attracted to me, and I kept showing up. So as I kept showing up to the meetings where JW showed us how to run for election. So the organization, we started having our own election inside our organization. And one guy named Andre Smith was JW. They did a lot of stuff together. They became more friends than me. Even though I showed up and JW was still my friend and still was my mentor helping me out. But him and Andre was more close up doing things, and Andre was doing more stuff too at the time. But what happened was that JW wanted us to run for presidency or the vice president of the organization. And he allowed us to learn how to speak. Why should I be the president of the organization? Why should I be a candidate? So because of my experience doing campaigns with JW and the organization, it gave me a whole new way how to run for an office. So what I have found that I had something inside of me I didn't know. I didn't know that I was a speaker. I didn't know the energy and the impact of me being a part of learning the politics and how to run campaigns was something inside of me that I didn't know as a child, because none of my parents and none of my grandparents, none of my cousins or none of my friends didn't know nothing about politics in the city of Philadelphia. I didn't even know. I knew how to steal, I knew how to rob, I knew how to sling marijuana, but I did not know that there was another way or something that could maybe be attractive and get me a good job in the city of Philadelphia. But that I stuck with the plan that God has for me. I got a radio show. My name is Showtime the Hype Man on Philly Hot Radio. For those who like to call in, you can call in on.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
So I'm back now. I got a radio show. Sometime I want to thank Corey for watching my radio show. This is another good friend of mine that's up. That's my young boy from up Winfield, another great barber. Also come from the streets, but we all fall short. But back to Showtime the Hype Man. I got a radio show on Philly Hot Radio. I want to thank those who are tuning in on my Instagram page. So as I got into learning the street level of politics, but as I went higher, because of lack of my education, but what I had to do, I had to out-hustle everybody else. And what I knew how to talk. I knew how to speak to people. I knew how to gather and fit in any situation, even the high level, the poorest level, or the middle class level. See, I knew how to fit in. See, I knew that I can fit in the bad way. I knew I can fit in the good way. I just knew that I knew how to adapt. Even in spite of what I had was weak inside of me because of my growing up inside my household, because of the detour that I was blind, that I didn't understand how important that having a great education meant to me. Even today, how some people want to criticize and laugh, but it's my hustling, it's my spirit, it's something that is new and allowed me to survive going to the 21st century. So as I got into the organization, I became much stronger. So as JW, we had an election. And they was banking on Andre the Smith to beat me. But the organization knew that Michael Keller, a.k.a. Mikkel, at the time my name was Mikkel. That's what everybody used to call me. And because of my street hustle, because of my determination, and because I have found a new way of passion, doing something positive, and seeing elections and being around ward leaders and committee people, driving around in certain places that I never would have went to, going inside City Hall and parking the car on the sidewalk and go into my brother, my father, my family member, my grandfather that I used to call, took me in. So as I won the election, to be the vice president of the Young Society. I got an award. This is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. I have got an award that I lost my award that JW gave me award for me being the vice president of the Young Society. And we was a very strong organization in the city of Philadelphia. And we was well known having honorary members like John Anderson, Dave Richardson, the Honorable Lucian Blackwell. We had some senators. We had key people that wanted to be in our organization. JW was a genius. And then JW, as we started separating, I started hanging around the Honorable Lucian E. Blackwell. I was probably 18 and 19 years old. Didn't have a clue. But Councilwoman Lucian E. Blackwell and Janie Blackwell and the Blackwell family took me in like I was birthed by one of the sisters in the Blackwell family. I want to thank Aunt Jo, let her rest in peace, took me in like her son. And me and Tommy became brothers. So as I got more into politics as a young man, our organization wanted to draft Lucian E. Blackwell to run for mayor. And then we got into the charter change to stop Frank Rizzo to run for a third term to be the mayor. And what happened was we, on the poll places and the machines at the time where you vote at, that it was changing the charter change. Do you believe that a mayor can stay in office? But because we changed the charter change that the mayors in the city of Philadelphia only allowed to run 2 terms. So as we campaigned and we went to all over the city and we registered over 85,000 people. Every day we took bags of registration forms. About 6 of us, along with JW. And JW like wearing military clothes. And so we would go out and sing in our song like, I travel through the city wide, hungry babies, black and white, mothers sleeping outside. Please do it for me, please do it for me. If you can't do it for yourself, then please do it for me. So what we did was we put a song and a spiritual song and a southern song along with our campaign. And I realized then that people always love music. So as we started singing and seeing a group of young men and young women who were trying to find their identity in the streets of the city of Philadelphia, the Young Society gave me a tool, and it gave me an intersection, and it gave me a place where I can go at. And I started being attracted, even though I was not making no money, but I was dedicated 7 days a week to be a part of learning the value of politics in the city of Philadelphia. So as I started hanging around the Honorable Lucian E. Blackwell from Monday to Saturday, I remember when he took me in his house, set me at his table, gave me some salami, some cheese, because he liked salami and cheese and crackers and grapes. That was a snack. But he loved some chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Boy, we used to buy buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of chicken. So what I did, I proved my loyalty to the Blackwell's family. And I showed loyalty to the Honorable Lucian Blackwell and former Councilwoman Janie Blackwell. So I became one of their students, one of their family, and they adopted me. I remember when he told me, he said, if you're going to hang around me, it's certain things that you cannot do on the outside once you leave my house or once you leave me, because if people see me around you, they will look at me in a different way. I had to learn how to be mature in an early stage in my life. By me being a young soldier from the streets of the city of Philadelphia, by me still was attractive and watching other guys buying Cadillacs and wearing Borsalinis, having nice Chesterfield coats. And the cocaine was creeping in our society slowly but surely. But I hold on to the old way. I hold on to go that know that politics is the way for me, and politics was the journey for me. Politics was going to save my life. Politics was not going to allow me to go to penitentiary. Politics would allow me to get in places with the education, with the background that God has gave me. So being in politics has saved my life as a young man in the streets of the city of Philadelphia. So as I go on being in politics at a young age, and they started calling me the one-man campaign, and I was dedicated, but because of my lack of education, that even though I was in the meetings, but I knew what I didn't have, but I did not tell everybody what I suffered, but I kept walking, I kept showing up, I kept being motivated in spite of what people thought. So as I started hanging around and meeting people, I started acting like Lucian E. Blackwell. I started pinching my shoulder like the Honorable Lucian Blackwell. See, what I did, I started studying him, and I started duplicating him. The way he walked and the swag that he had. And that was a good swag, and that was a good person to look up to because it saved my life. So what we're going to do, I got a radio show. And my name is Showtime the Hype Man on Philly Hot Radio Morning Show. They can't stop me.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
So also we got the King of Hooks. I want to thank him for joining in. We have B Blanks, that might be NARS, I'm not sure. I'm looking at some of the pictures, quality control manager team. So those who are watching me, I'm giving you a story. And to be a radio personnel, it's important that I be a great storyteller. Anybody want to get to know me, I'm going to tell you the truth about me. So, as I got deeper into hanging with the Honorable Lucian E. Blackwell, I started meeting so many people. I started invited to some of the places and how it goes, but I was soaking it up. So, as the Honorable Lucian Blackwell, we was drafting Blackwell to run for the mayor of the city of Philadelphia. So what we would do, we would go to fundraiser, we'd go to different places where smelling Blackwell, about 8 of us, I had to make sure. So about 8 of us will wear campaign hats. They was white with the red, white, and blue logo, like the little hats. They was nice. They was real nice hat. We would go into $1,000 fundraisers or a $10,000 fundraiser, and we would go and talk about, what's the word? Have you heard? The whole town talking about Blackwell, Blackwell. So what we was doing, we was building the momentum of the campaign for Blackwell to run for mayor and draft Blackwell to run for mayor. And we was building a strong campaign for him. But in politics in the city of Philadelphia, that you can be geared up where the backing of some of the people say they got your back, but because we know, I'm not talking about nobody, I don't want nobody to, I want to make sure before I say this, Instagram, I'm not saying anything, no names, because I don't want to be cut off because I said something about politics, and I don't want to make that clear to the policy of Facebook that I say nothing wrong to the community as a whole, and make sure I just keep it clean and fresh. But at that time, the organization, we needed, and some young people came in the organization that were trying to make a name for themselves also in politics. And we allowed them to see some of our organization, and they saw some loopholes open at the time. And at the time that I was not polished where running a campaign or maybe having a structure, I had the other part down, but I didn't have the other part that I needed to be a key person in meetings. But I still showed up. So after Lucian Blackwell was running, what's the solution? Blackwell, he did a hell of a campaign. We lost because of politics, but we lost. And from that day on, I left the city of Philadelphia after that election. I moved up Connecticut, up in Groton, Connecticut, and took a career learning how to be a welder. And so in the cold, it's cold up in Connecticut and Groton, Connecticut. So I signed up for welding school. They had a welding facility where they weld submarines, and they had a training facility program where you graduate, that you had a job after you graduate. And in spite of the education that I had, I rode my bike in the cold weather, being determined. Even though the odds was against me, I was a man trying to find my identity at the time. So I moved to Connecticut to look for another direction. And so I went to school, and as I did graduate as a certified welder to weld on submarines, and MIG welding, silane welding, aluminum welding. And I passed the school, I got a job, but I was still a city guy. So one day I got on the Amtrak train, and I would go to Philly, come back, but then one day I just stayed back in Philly and started doing my own thing. And so the Honorable Lucian Blackwell remembered me. I got a phone call from him and Jane. He said they had a job for me at the Philadelphia Gas Company, but I had to take the test for me to get the job at the gas company. So as I went down there and took the test, and I became a meter reader for the Philadelphia Gas Company. And at that time that I was starting to peak, and also marijuana and cocaine was a big thing in the city of Philadelphia. And as I was a meter reader and working for the gas company, and I never realized that once you start tooting, we call it tooting, tooting. And then I thought maybe that I can be a drug dealer too, along with me working at the Philadelphia Gas Company in the city of Philadelphia. But also I became a product of me selling and snorting at the same time. If you want to know Showtime, now I'm going to give y'all a story. You can judge me, doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give you the truth about me today. And for those who are watching me on Instagram, one thing about me, I ain't going to lie to my audience. Because if I want to be a radio personality, I want to be in the public, for anybody want to come and tell you about my story, y'all know that on Instagram, that Showtime the Hype Man told his story, so none of y'all can tell him. So at the time, I had a good job at the gas company as a meter reader, but also I was young, and the drug of choice in the 80s was cocaine for a lot of us, snorting and wearing fur coats. And for those who maybe will go to drink champagne, and I got my own place, I had them. So my father signed for me for a brand new Cadillac at Don Rose on City Line Avenue. So my father knew that I made enough money at the Philadelphia Gas Company. I had some good jobs in the city, no question about it. And at the time, Philly Hot Radio.
Hey, this is Dr. Rock. I only have like a minute, really 2 minutes, and then I have to get off. I just want to say hello.
Hello, Dr. Rock. We love you. This is Dr.
Doing a
Rock.
great job as usual.
Well, hey, Dr. Rock, you know I'm on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
You can see it?
yeah. I know you're on Instagram. But I just wanted to let you know. I just wanted to give a shout out because I was still in the, working. So just wanted to say hello for a minute.
Well, Dr. Rock, for those who are listening to us on Instagram, me and Dr. Rock got a radio show. And this woman has been committed, and I am so grateful to have her in my life. And I'm letting the world know she has came and be my ride and died along with me every Saturday morning on Philly Hot Radio, Whistle While You Work. And this show here is part of Whistle While You Work, but it's a morning show, but I'm by myself because of my friend. Dr. Rob, before you leave, what do you want to say to our audience? Because we love you, and you know I love you. And in spite of, I let the world know that I love Dr. Rock. What do you want to say, Dr. Rock, real quick before you leave?
Just wanted to say, keep up the good work. You're doing a great job during the week, and we all are part of this team together. And what's one thing about it, we are a team, and I want everybody to understand that we work great together. We support each other, and I want everybody to continue. Thank you so much for supporting us on weekdays and on the weekends. We really appreciate the support, and I just want to say, love you and love you guys. And
Thank you, Dr. Rock. That was Dr. Rock, and we appreciate you too, Dr. Rock. And I didn't know that people see me on Instagram. Let me ask you a question. When I came on, did it pop up on your phone? I said that when I went live on Instagram, did it pop up on your phone?
No.
It didn't? Well, how do y'all know I was on Instagram today? I'm just asking.
I wasn't able to get on it right now because I was still in class. But I guess people they probably got on there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at people watching me now through the phone. But Dr. Rock, we thank you, and I'll talk to you later on. You know how I feel about you. So let's continue to stay in prayer, and let's do what we're doing with our show, because big things going to happen for me and you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. So that was Dr. Rock, the co-host on Philly Hot Radio, Whistle While You Work. She's working now at the time. So we're going to get back into the story of Showtime the Hype Man and how I came up in Philadelphia. But right now, for those who like to call in.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
Hi, my name is Showtime the Hype Man. I got a radio show. And I am committed on this intersection that God has allowed me to do. So we're going to get back into the story of Showtime the Hype Man, and maybe this is the day that my audience get a chance, for those who criticize me, those who maybe, and that's fine. We don't worry about none of that no more, because I'm going with the new wave of being who I am. So as Showtime the Hype Man started working for the gas company in the city of Philadelphia as a meter reader, and I went into the distribution department where I was turning off gases in people's homes. But what happened was that I was still sneaking around, snorting on the weekends, and that was not good. I had lost one of my gas keys, and they called me in for a urine test. And I was just, I was drinking champagne, a brand new car, a brand new this, but I never knew by playing around with my nose, snorting with my nose at the time, that was a little thing I'm doing. So I didn't know what it would take me at, and I didn't ever understood about diseases, about addictions, and not to judge me, those who want to judge me, or those who, that's my past. That been over 40-something years ago. I want to clear that to my audience. So basically, I actually lost my job by me feel that I had no control. How they gonna tell me what I can't do? But after I lost that job, my father was upset. But I knew that God was gonna take care of me. But I continue to go back out there. I continue to do what I got to do. That was a heavy piece, getting a check every week from a job that maybe I would have been retiring early on, but God did not want me to go that way. So I started being Mikkel again and venturing out there, and I hit a rock bottom in my life around 86. When my first son was born, and I struggled for about 5 or 7 years after that. I went through struggling, but I still had pride in myself. And I was struggling, and I feel that I could have been a better father, I could have been a better provider, but I didn't know that this will get the best out of me. Anybody that's watching me, I'm going to tell you the truth about me today. So no one can go talk about me, what I did, my past, but I know that the community that I come from, they will hold your past against you. But you're looking at greatness right here. So as I done that, I started finding my spirit. And I know that prayer works, and I know that God has carried me through them tough years of my youth, where at 28 and 29 and 30s and 35, them years was some struggling years for me, and when I should have been more fun years and traveling years and going to Panama and going to other countries and seeing the world, but I kept believing in God. See, in spite of my darkness, in spite of my trials and tribulation, in spite of what I went off the intersection and I found myself going somewhere where it was darkness, but I knew God was going to save my life. So as I started repairing my spirit, where most people have never made it back to the intersection. Most people lost this and never came back. But I was grateful that God kept his hand on me through the dark times of my rough times in my younger age and my peaking age at 35. And I started to make a turnaround on my spirit in spite of that I was fighting a nasty battle spirit. But God kept his hands on me. So I want to thank what God has done for me. And so thank my brother often got me a job. As I got myself together, I bounced back and I started working at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. And when I got there, because of my energy level, because of my way that I speak, the way that I talk, the way that I conduct myself, the way that God has gave me a gift called people skills gift. So my people skills gift has allowed me to soar in the Department of Environmental Service, that where they gave me the leading job, where I conquered every position, every duty when I got there. And I never expected they saw something in me to give me that position. And as I went there for about 5 or 4 or 6 years, I got a cut on my hand for the rest of my life, where elevator thing through my thumb and my ligament. But I knew that God was leading me somewhere else. So at that time, I was still being associated with the Honorable Lucian Blackwell when he went to Congress to be a Congress in Washington. And then I had Councilwoman Janie Blackwell became a councilwoman down in the city, where we had Honorable Lucian Blackwell as a Congress for the 3rd District, and then we had Councilwoman Janie Blackwell for the 2nd Congress District, and they want to give Janie Blackwell as the 4th council seat, 3rd District in the West Philadelphia side and Southwest Philadelphia, 52nd Street side, north a little bit from down Baltimore Avenue, that whole area. So when Janie had some workers that maybe did a little trouble, I got a phone call to come, and at the time I was getting involved in the union for the University of Pennsylvania under the 1190C, because I had that leadership role by me hanging with JW and also hanging with the Honorable Lucian Blackwell. It gave me something inside of me that I can do anything, and I can be a part of fighting for justice and sticking by people that want to change, and I'm always about the change. So as I started campaigning in the University City Hospital, and we bought the 1190C union there, and because of me, today that and other people, the University of Pennsylvania Hospital has a union, because I set the ground and the groundwork to bring the union to the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. And now they have a union, they get decent wage, and they are protected. But what happened was, University of Pennsylvania, when they bought the union, they cut ties with the environmental service, they cut ties with the laundry room, they cut ties with the food service. And what they did was they allowed them to have a union, but they didn't get the benefits where working as a facility where only managers and supervisors and nurses and doctors got the benefits that University of Pennsylvania offering them. Along with how CHOP has allowed their staff in the union to still get the same benefits of working at CHOP. But the difference that University broke tide with the men's and women, that all they wanted was someone to represent them, to give them a decent wage like what CHOP was getting. So as I done my job at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital, I resigned it. Didn't get fired, I resigned it. And the Honorable Councilman Jane Blackwell gave me a phone call, and maybe Michael Youngblood, and say, hey, I feel safe with you being with Janie Blackwell. But did I have the spirit to take the task to be with Councilwoman Janie Blackwell? Or did I understand the position that I had being with her? Or really did I really know Councilwoman Janie Blackwell like I thought her? I loved it her. And I would do anything, will fight, represent her, and wouldn't do anything to cause her harm for any way because I was already groomed by the Honorable Lucian Blackwell. But being in politics and everybody is different, but I did my duties to the best of my abilities to try to hang in there, but I only hung to work with Councilman Janie Blackwell about 5 or 6 months because of financial reason I left, and because spiritual reason that I left, because of spiritual reason and financial reasons, I left because of that. But as me still being a young man and, learning people and saying things maybe, it caused a damage with the relationship that I had with Janie Blackwell, and we never rectified, me and her, and I still respect her today, and always to tell her that, Janie, I'm one of your lieutenants, but we never got that chemistry back, so we went our separate ways, and she would speak to me and all that, but she never forgave me or whatever I said at the time. I was young, I didn't know, but I deeply gave it my all. So as I saw the tides cutting between me and Councilwoman Janie Blackwell, so I went out on my own seeking jobs. So I found a job at the Delaware Community College where I landed a full-time job with great benefits, and this white director gave me an opportunity, and it was a good opportunity. And it was a good job, and also I helped some friends got jobs there. Raphael and Kevin Parker, another friend of mine that on my journey. So I helped some people get jobs, and that's what Showtime all about. It's all about helping people if I want to get in position. So as I worked at Delaware Community College, I left there about 4 or 5 years. I stayed there, and I resigned it from there. I didn't quit, I resigned it. And so I landed a job. As I left that job, I was getting little jobs, so I applied the application at SEPTA. From my experience working at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital and my experience working at Delaware Community College, I had enough reference and I had enough experience to land a job in environment and service of the Porter Department for SEPTA. And so as I went to SEPTA for 3 or 4 years in the Porter Department, I wanted to make some big money and being a bus operator. And then I had the time and the length there that once I graduated from training on buses, but also I had other jobs before I went to the bus. I went to the track. And as a track reader, I didn't like going up working at night, and I sure didn't like all them rats down there at them tunnels on Erie Avenue in North Philadelphia where I saw rats bigger than me. Then I became a trash puller at night, riding the trains at night, pulling trash and putting trash on chains, but rats was inside of some of these bags. We got a radio show. My name is Showtime the Hype Man. Today's show, I'm giving y'all a story about Showtime the Hype Man. If you're going to judge me, criticize me, but I'm not going nowhere. I got a radio show.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hott Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
Hi, my name is Showtime the Hype Man. We got a radio show. In today's show, I'm giving my audience and my fans the journey of Showtime the Hype Man and how I became Showtime the Hype Man and how I became Mikkel and how my journey and I kept fighting through to stay on course. So as I got involved in SEPTA and I started to be aggressive, start taking tests to get move-ups and better jobs so I can take care of myself. At the time, I wasn't married, but my marriage came in at the University when I met a lovely wife named Diane Keys Keller, where she did something different, and I know that I needed something different to be at my struggling, and I didn't want a woman that had the same street value like me or hipper than me. I needed someone different, and God has blessed me with a wife that was different and allowed me to still be with her after 20-something years. I'm still together in spite of my bumpy road and me smelling myself out here in the streets. But I got through that. So as I became a bus operator at SEPTA for 15 years, I made it. But what happened is that where we have managers and directors at depots where they was looking to go after people, and I was a great driver and I was a great worker that went to work, but because of my teaching of the Honorable Lucian Blackwell and James Williams, and that's me being in leadership and also speaking on things that I have seen inside the depot that was causing people harm. And I spoke out at one of the meetings they invited me called customer service. And so they asked me a question: how do I feel about the directors and subdirectors inside the depots and supervisors? And I said that by us working together, management and employee, all of us together, it seemed to me that managers was very vicious to their employees, and everything didn't have to be rightened up. It was all how they try to discipline us. But when I opened up my mouth, I became a target against managers and supervisors. And so they would send black supervisors out there in the street to go after me. And for all the 15 years, I never been in an accident. I never had nobody to call up on me, but it was a manager that was trying to make a name, and they was going after blacks. In 2014, SEPTA, I don't want to talk about SEPTA, so let me not do that, because then I could be breaking the policy. Let me wind that tape up. I deeply apologize, Instagram, for me saying the name. But I did work for SEPTA. I was wrongfully accused. I won my job. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, they rewarded me, said that the company lied to me, and that's task over. So after I resigned, after I left SEPTA, not on my turn, because I was under attack, and proof will come out one day. But right now, unfortunately, that we couldn't win none of our cases. And I want to give a shout out to Minister Roddy Muhammad of the NAACP for doing a great job and standing up and fighting for us. So as I left SEPTA, I was still living. I was still doing some things. I was still getting the income in, because I took my pension money, and I was getting a large money from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So I survived for 3 years off of my income that I had working. And so after that ran out, my brother Tommy Blackwell started hanging out with him as he became a state rep, and I still was attracted to politics. So my brother Tommy took me in, and he allowed me to walk with him. He allowed me to go to Harrisburg. He allowed me to see what they do up as a state rep, but also he allowed me, as he was going, he started opening up the Dell Music Center, and I started meeting people at the Dell Music Center, who runs the Dell, and started going down to Dell with Tommy, some of the meetings and some of the shows. So then we went to a show at the Keith Sweat Tina Marie show in 2010, August the 10th. that's when Showtime the Hype Man got discovered. On August the 10th in 2010, the Keith Sweat and the Tina Marie show, I think Gary O was DJing at the time. I didn't know Gary O. I didn't know none of the people. They played an old song, Bohannon. Boy, so, I'm in the seat, me and Tommy. And so Tommy, he didn't really push me, but he pushed me on the side to go out there and dance. So these two women came after me, and I went on a poll. For those who like to go to Book Nova, you can go to www.booknova, August the 10th, 2010. That's when Showtime the Hype Man started being at the Dell every week. And every week I would do a little bit. Then I started meeting the people, the general managers, and I started meeting the people in the back of the Dell who was running the Dell. And as it went on, I started being a little more aggressive with my character. And then all of a sudden, they allowed me, I want to thank Faye, number one, for giving me an opportunity along with Platinum Entertainment that does all the shows on the East Coast and West Coast sometime. So they gave me the okay to be Showtime at the Dell Music Center. Boy, let me tell you, in the hot sun, I worked it hard and gave my audience, the fans in the city of Philadelphia, the Dell Music Center, I gave them my all every Thursday night when the lights cut on and stars and all the 7,555 people that showed up at the Dell Music Center. I didn't know what I was doing, but the more I did it, the more the crowd and the people started cheering me on. I became an instant celebrity in the city of Philadelphia. Every year, my popularity has got stronger and stronger. So I met my friend, my brother that I call Billy Ingram, that I truly respect. I respect his business, but also I became a friend, even though his business is separated than what we do. And so I started going down Atlantic City to the big shows where the Boardwalk Hall, the Tropicana Casino, or any other big event that was going on. I started going to some of the elected officials' events in the city of Philadelphia, and the crowd and the people, when I come on the stage, it was just the energy that all these people was cheering me on. And so as I started growing every year, my name has got bigger and bigger, and everybody in the city knew who I was. And because I was down in Atlantic City at the Keith Sweat, Frankie Beverly, Tina Marie, Kim, you can go on and Fantasia. I had performed in front of any big celebrity shows for 9 years. I did it on a consistent basis, and the audience still loved it, Showtime the Hype Man. And so as my brother Tommy got on the board, he said, I'm going to get you on this board, because I was doing shows on the side. I was doing my own shows. I was doing my own managing stuff, and I was building under Turning Point Entertainment. But Turning Point Entertainment didn't go off real well. But soon that I became Showtime the Hype Man, my star static has went to the roof. And I have passed people that was doing it for 20 years. And I did it less time, and I know that's God. Because God told me, go to the people. God kept telling me, go to the people. So I knew to shake as many hands, take as many pictures as possible. My name started spreading all over the city of Philadelphia, all down Atlantic City, all down Wilmington with my boy OP Production. Gave me an opportunity to come on out in Wilmington, Delaware, to do what I do at the Dell. And I want to thank the Dell, even though things happen. I might have said some things or may have done something for them to cut me off, but I'm not mad at the devil. I thank him so much. And, you know, God say forgive, and maybe I'm more mature now, realize that every fight ain't my fight, because I'm not with, other person don't support me no more. And so basically, that's how it goes. But I learned the lesson on this journey, on the intersection. So a friend of mine named Tracy kept telling me he had a radio show. And I never knew anything about having a radio show. I'd never been a part of a radio show or a podcast at the time. Things are popping up. But I thought I'd give it a try. And I asked my wife, would it be a good name for a radio show? So we came with a different identity. Said we came across Philly Hott Radio, whistle while you work. So what I did was, I didn't come on by myself. So because I'm smart, well, most people think I'm not, but I know that I'm smart and I got great genius in me. Want to make sure that the minutes are going by real quick. We have 5 more minutes. And Dr. Rock, I asked Dr. Rock, would she like to come on the radio show with me? Because I saw that Dr. Rock, she had smartness, she had character, she looked well-groomed, and also she's a very attractive woman and a smart woman, along with her very attractive. And I needed someone that have a face looks like me. Don't I look good, ladies and gentlemen? And so I thought that me and Dr. Rock would be a good combination. Then also I knew a lady named Watson, Lady J. And I asked her, would she come in, because I have done some little stuff with her. And I thought it was me giving back the little things she done, her little fairs that she allowed me to come on. And I thought that having her and Dr. Rock on the show, that it would give me a larger fan base, and 2 women's on the show, along with my fan base, that we'll have a large and boom. But the first show didn't go well with me and Dr. Rock and Lady J. And I told the lady that it wasn't you or the show, it was a spiritual thing. And I just thought that me and Dr. Rock was a better fit for me and her to do it together. And from this day on, me and Dr. Rock is still together, going on 19 months of doing our show. So, and that's how I landed here on Philly Hott Radio, Whistle While You Work Saturday show. So by me doing a Saturday show with my co-host, let me tell you, I got the best co-host that anybody ever had. We might fight, argue, say things, but we stay on the same course. That's where you know that y'all are working and achieving some things together, for those who are watching us. So by me being on Whistle While You Work with Dr. Rock every Saturday morning on Philly Hott Radio, it allowed me to continue to come to the lab to do a radio show from Monday to Friday. I'm here to learn how to host, learn how to, and the day I worked at all this equipment by myself without any help today was the first day that I came here and turned everything on. So I want to give God the glory. But from that day on, it allowed me to do a show from Monday to Friday. And I called Dr. Rock up and said, Dr. Rock, I want to start a new show on Monday morning. But she told me she maybe won't be eligible because of her financially and her obligation to her responsibility. But I did want people to know. So it landed me a morning show on Philly Hott Radio, and that's why I'm here this morning. I don't have any guests yet, but I'm going to show up every day and do the best that I can do to hold this morning show till people start building the buzz up. Right now, it might seem like it's not going nowhere, but I trust God again along with my journey. I want to thank anybody and everybody that tuned in to watch me. So we're going to have I want to thank all of y'all. My name is Showtime the Hype Man on.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime, the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and Facebook Live. See ya.
So I want to thank God for the show. I want God can taste and place his hand on me. I want to thank Jackie Cooley, another great guy that I grew up with. I just want to thank the Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior, for giving me a platform. And without God and people like Dr. Rock and all my friends and my wife and all the people that are supporting this show, I just want to thank all of y'all. This is your show. This is the people's show. So I see y'all tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I'm just so grateful that God is using me in another way. I got a radio show.
Hi, and good morning. This is Showtime, the Hype Man Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on Philly Hot Radio. Callers, call in at 484-477-6348, or you can go to www.phillyhotradio.com and stream live on YouTube and